Young, who is our presenter for this afternoon. So Russ is an Interrise instructor and Interrise support coach. So he works to support other emerging leaders instructors across the country. He's been teaching emerging leaders in Atlanta for 5 years. So this is his 5th year. His first year teaching was in 2010. He has over 35 years experience in both corporate leadership and business ownership. He's worked in over 65 countries, has experience in small, mid-sized, and Fortune 100 companies. And aside from being an Interrise instructor, he's also currently a business coach and owner of ActionCOACH Atlanta. And with that, again, I'll remind folks that if they're able to mute their lines, that would be great. And we'll turn it over to Russ.
So thank you, Laura. It's a great day. I hope that you're all having a great day and the weather is good for you. We're just hot and steamy today, so in Atlanta, but I hope all of you are enjoying great weather and having a terrific week. The purpose of today is really to get a better grasp, if necessary, of what a business plan looks like when you incorporate the vision. As we've stated before and in the information that went out previously, to have a plan without a vision is not to have a plan. To have a goal without a vision, you don't have a goal. It starts with the vision. It goes into the mission, it goes to the goal, and eventually from that you can develop the plan. Now we've all started and are well on our way to developing a great plan, a strategic action plan that will enable us all to do a much better job of running our business to reach some of those dreams we have in 3 years out from now. And for many, I realize, and I've been to a number of cities as well as here in Atlanta, and I realize that some of the biggest challenges is getting that vision down on paper. And even though we had it in the first module, where we have it on, I think it was on page 15, start with a big vision. And that's very, very generic, but in general, your vision will help determine where you go, what you achieve, and it will make your life a lot easier to develop the goals strategically that are going to help you get to that end. So, yeah, the whole idea of a business plan is actually rather comforting because it makes people feel safe and secure to know that there's a plan guiding business activities in the, quote, right way. But while most business plans never really come to life, we are Interrise and working with you want to make sure that all of your business plans do come to life. Why do many not come to life? Because very often they're written, then they put it on the shelf, they sit there, they gather dust, and while the futures they describe, they never see the light of day. So the business described, it says, okay, fine, yeah, we sort of have it in my head. This is what we're reaching toward, and this is what we're going to get. And in effect, most of the owners of businesses are really wobbling toward their the future, which is rather uncertain. When a business plan is flawed, normally, right from the start, unless it is based on the right intention, in order for a business plan to work, to be truly useful, it must be placed on your business vision. And what is your business vision? It is really your dream for the future of the business and the path that you will take to make it a reality. So no matter what stage of the business development your cycle might be, your existence, survival, success, takeoff, or even resource maturity, as a leader of your organization, of your business, your vision should be absolutely clear. It should describe where you are going and what the destination will be like. And what we quoted before, that is a business without a vision is directionless. So your business plan needs your vision to make it come alive, to make it a reality. And similarly, your vision needs the form, the direction, and the clarity of a business plan, which you're creating as we go along to give relevance to the day-to-day operations of your business. So when we start to look at the opportunity of what our sequence is, we start to look at, well, it's really creating that vision. And then that vision, which is very often our dreams, our dream of what it will look like in 3 years. For many, the vision could be well out there, 5 years, 10 years. When I've spent a lot of time throughout Asia and in Japan in particular, A vision there may be 200, 300, 800 years in the future. We look at it a little bit differently here, and we look at a vision of what is this going to look like 3 years from now. That's our goal with what we are doing right now in Emerging Leaders. But as we go forward, you can start looking at what is it going to be in 5 years or 10 years. And an old naval term called PERTing your goals, you look at it where you are, and you can work backwards to see what you're going to need each and every year, and then perhaps in each and every year what you're going to need in each and every month. And then each and every month you're going to know what you're going to do every week, and then every week, virtually every day, and who's going to do what and when. But that's all in building the plan that we're working on currently, whether regardless of where you are, and whether you've just finished Module 1 or you're almost ready to finish Module 2, it really doesn't matter. It really needs to continually go back to understanding what your vision is in order to be able to establish the goals that are truly out there. It's not uncommon for many that I look at that have a goal, and the goal is sometimes, well, by the end of December of 2015, I expected this to happen, and that's the goal. Well, let's think a little bit outside the box and start looking for the future. What will your business look like in 2016, 17, 18, and perhaps beyond? So the vision-based plan, or your strategic growth plan, is based on your vision, is propelled really because you want it to work. As the expression states, you want it to work with all your heart. In fact, you can also think of it as a heart-centered plan if you wish. The vision-based business strategic growth plan is really a statement of your vision, the current description of the main strategies and the tactics you'll be using to make your vision come true. And what you've already started, for those of you who are well into Module 2, we're working on the financials to help get you toward that goal, the goals that you want. And those goals may change or shift a little bit, but that's where we're going now. And in the future, we'll start to talk about, okay, how can we improve it all with marketing, with sales, eventually getting into contracting, lending, loaning. All of that is part of building your plan. So from the strategies and tactics that you actually go into in your plan, every part of your business, the departments, if you will, the positions that you have within your business, will be able to develop the additional strategies and tactics and systems, really, to achieve their results and ultimately the strategic objective of your business. There's some really interesting points of view about planning that maybe make it a really worthwhile endeavor. When you start to plan, start with what's important to you. A mediocre plan that you, perhaps others, feel passionately about will serve you better than a technically superior plan that you don't feel strongly about. As we go forward, you have to embrace this. This has to be something that becomes a part of you. And then you can approach planning as more of an art than a science. When we go through all the technicalities, we start looking at, okay, how will we compare with others, the NAICS code, how are we doing there? All of the technicalities, but reality, it's more of an art than a science. Professionally formatted plans, lots of qualifications, data, it gives a false impression of certainty and precision. Use your best thinking when you're planning, but don't forget that even the best thinking involves some educated guesswork. Yes, you can guess. It's okay, yeah, for this works, that should work, so it's some guesswork. And treat the plan as you're going, and when you finish, and even as you're creating a plan, treat it as a living, growing document. When we finish up and say, wow, it's done, we've gotten through this, we've got a 3-year plan, we present it, we get finished at the end of this whole session, of the whole program and all the modules, that's great. But it doesn't stop there, because without the continuing referral to it, without the evaluation and perhaps the revision of it, you're going to go astray. So it would be best if you continue to question some of the assumptions you've made and remain flexible, perhaps open to change. A traditional business plan that many people think of, and I'm not going to talk about it, there's a lot of support. Some of you may have started your business with a plan, perhaps through SCORE or other sources. That's fine. But a traditional business plan won't give you the results you want or need because nobody's committed to working on it. The business plan always works, may look a lot like the traditional plan, You could put them side by side and maybe not even notice a lot of difference. But the appearance is where the similarity ends. A business plan based on vision, on enthusiasm, and on purpose it'll trump your traditional business plan every time. So when we start to look at where we're going in a vision and mission, very often we do have the vision, and then from the vision and mission, the goal. Now, a lot of individuals have had challenges in understanding what the vision is as opposed to what the mission is. The vision is really, in one simpler form, it's your dream of what it looks like in the future, at any point in the future. The mission is your purpose. It's what you do and why you do it. It's your purpose. It can also be a little bit of a roadmap for your team. The goals is what everybody works to achieve in order to fulfill the vision. The strategy is the means by which we will accomplish the goal, and when we put the strategies together and perhaps some tactics, we then create the action plan. So it's a step-by-step process, but the foundation is important, the vision and mission. Some of you may have created a great vision statement, have the mission, and you finish that first module, terrific. But I would also advise you to continue to look back at it, perhaps revise it, update it, do a number of things that are going to make it valuable to you and, very importantly, valuable to your team. So keeping that in mind, let's talk a little bit more about the vision and mission. So the vision, simply, we'll look at it as being the guiding light of your company, something that inspires and rolls. It is really not going to be coarse. They said, my vision is I'm going to be retiring to the beach in the Bahamas, and I'm going to be living there under the palm tree. Another said, well, I'm going to be doing fine because I really want to retire and own a jet, or I want to be able to retire and leave hundreds of millions of dollars to any number of those things. It's not about that which you are get out of. It's what does the business look like? What is it that you are going to get fundamentally and intrinsically the most value out of? People do not buy into your vision unless you actually have an opportunity to explain it, live it, drive it, do it again and again and again. You know, it's one thing, example, you'd say the world's best dental practice. If you're a dentist, provide clarity in the world of turmoil. There's a lot of them. In the key vision that I look at with my colleagues in my business, we talk about world abundance through business re-education. Now, that's simple. That's a very, very high end. Is it achievable? Perhaps not my generation, not in the next couple of generations. Yes, but that is the vision that I like to see way out there. But then I step back and say, well, in moving toward that ultimate vision, where do I want to be? What is this business going to look like in 5 years? What is this business going to look like in 3? And while we work on our growth action plans all together with our CEO mentoring groups, with our instructor, with everything that is involved, we're working together to make sure that we are on the same page and say, this is where we're going. And in 3 years from now, this is what we want the business to look like. It's going to have, it may be the number of people, who it's serving, when it's serving, all of that becomes very, very valuable. So your vision is key. And so with that, and just talking about getting the clarity of the vision, you're going to look at some ideas that a lot goes behind it. What does a vision do for your team? It can be a motivation, but it isn't a motivation if it's all about you. It can make a difference in your business as far as what the outside, who your marketplace, your target market is, but it's only going to make it if it's not all about you. And so we start looking at what really puts a vision first and foremost. I sometimes like to look at it a little bit differently and actually say, it's almost like a triangle. And when you look at a triangle, you've got this and saying, you've got your personal vision. Okay, that's the one side. Then you have the organization, your corporate, your team. That's the vision that they embrace. And then you have the communal or community. What do they see as your direction? In other words, together, the vision statement needs to embrace all three. You have to live it. Your team will encompass and learn it and then live it themselves, and the community will respect it and appreciate it that they are the ones who are going to have benefit indirectly or directly from what your vision is. So we start to look at what really takes a vision-based plan and creates something that is really simple. And sometimes we look at it and say, oh, well, our purpose is to do this and we want to do that. That's fine. That's when your purpose is out there is when mission comes into play. A mission is a purpose while a vision is a dream. It's easy to simplify it that way. Okay, the vision is the dream, the mission is its purpose. A mission clarifies your purpose, what you're doing, why you do it, and what it does. A vision, on the other hand, clarifies your organization, and how it looks, how it should act, not just now, but in the future. It communicates to everyone, we hope, the enthusiasm, and provides your group, your organization, with something to reach out to aspire to. It was interesting, there's a number of women's groups now, and the purpose in almost every women's group that gets together is to help women succeed in whatever form it might be. There's one, Women for Women, which is it ties into any war situation because it became very popular after Vietnam and then into after some of the Desert Storm and some others. But it is one where they want to do things similarly because they have created a dream or a vision that will enable them. And a vision can be wide. It could have a lot of different terminologies to it. I also know of a couple of successful companies that actually have their vision, their community vision, and their business vision. Their business vision is one where it embraces almost the entire corporate team, and the vision of what it will mean, secondary vision, is to what it will mean to the people around, the people that are around. So take a look at some possibilities of what some statements, and we'll come back to covering vision and goal as well and how all they come together. So, yes, okay. So these are some sample vision statements. These are the Westin hotels, which year after year, Westin and its people will be regarded as the best, most sought-after hotel and resort management group in North America, year after year. They're saying this is their vision of how they will function. Are they regarded the best and most sought-after? Not necessarily, but that's what they're striving to reach. That's the dream that they want, so they will be regarded as the best. The American Red Cross, who I have some familiarity with, we are a pace setter and the benchmark for excellence in nonprofit management and human service delivery for charitable organizations around the world. They live it, they breathe it, but most important, that's who they are. That's a statement that incorporates a little bit of their mission in with their vision. Another one would be taking a look at something like Tom Bush, the BMW. Your vision is to create an innovative and successful environment to achieve customer and employee satisfaction at the highest level. That one, yeah, I put in there because it's very popular, but not necessarily is it a real vision as you would be looking at it. The Quorum Health Group, valued for its expertise in hospital management, its ability to positively impact the delivery and quality of health care. I would have looked at it where they would be finished. That would be a little bit better. It is a vision, but it misses just a little bit on where they would wind up and what it would look like. So some of the others from Kelly Services, they're very simple, very short. And for the most part, your vision should be able to say your big vision for 3 years should be able to be enunciated in no more than about 3 sentences. 1, 2, or 3 sentences would be enough to enable you to have a vision that you can create your goals, and then you also have a mission, your purpose of why you do things, and putting those together. Now, I'd love to ask a simple question is, how many of you have a real vision statement that you feel very proud of and could actually share with us?
I'll start. This is Helen Callier with Brad Link out of Houston.
Good.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay, super. Thank you. By our vision statement is that by 2018, we are one of North America's most recognized technical services firms. delivering peace of mind and successful completion of projects to our clients. It's a little bit longer. I do have the 2 or 3 sentences, but that's the crux of it. The additional sentence that I have is that we'll generate $20 million in annual revenue and committed to being our clients' go-to resource, as well as serving the communities that we serve.
Okay. Thank you.
Washington.
Okay,
Earl Washington with U.S. Code and Specialties and Supplies. Hello, you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Our vision is to provide goods and service that exceed our customer expectations.
Okay. No, that's interesting. You are incorporating a little bit more of a mission than you are a vision in that one. Your mission, more of your purpose.
Yes.
Yes. And that's good as a mission of what you are trying to do. That's really very good. You may want to think about what does your business represent when it's finished, or what does your business look like in 3 years' time? And what are you? Who are you? What's the picture, the description you could put behind it?
Okay, I have that as well.
Okay.
We are to our vision is to increase our government sales. We are GSA holder. And we are to increase it over the next 3 years, 5 million, and that is domestic as well as global. And we have it through the hospitals, the healthcare, the prisoners industry, Air Force, the naval stations, and Air Force bases.
And Kimberly and Gloria still had their hands raised. I don't know if they had any specific questions or wanted to contribute anything.
Yeah, I didn't see Gloria. Yeah, I saw Gloria, I didn't see Kimberly. So, Kimberly, we haven't seen you since Monday. What would you like to offer?
About the vision, and I guess my question is that the examples that you provided are very brief.
Mm-hmm.
And mine has gotten more brief since I originally submitted it, but it's a little longer than that, and I just am not sure if the intent is for it to just be like a one-liner, or is it okay if it's a little bit longer?
It's okay if it's a little bit longer. You're developing a short-term vision, which is going to be more descriptive than what the cause and direction is that a lot of the companies, larger companies, have already developed. If you can get it down to 1 to 3 sentences, great. But why don't you offer, what is yours, Kimberly?
So mine says that Hummingbird Risk Advisors will be renowned as the most highly functioning, innovative, and knowledgeable risk management and human resource advisor to the healthcare industry. We'll be designated as one of the industry's best places to work, offering our employees flexibility and knowledge to assist our clients in making a difference in the quality of healthcare that's provided throughout the U.S.
Okay, very good. You've got a vision with a little bit of your mission incorporated into it, and that's fine. That's fine, because ultimately that's what you want it to be, and that's out there. Is that a 3-year vision, or is that beyond?
That's beyond. That's
yes, right.
Forever and ever.
Right. Very good. Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you. Okay, do we have Gloria?
Yes, I got disconnected. Sorry.
Okay.
My vision is to be one of America's and worldwide authorities in the licensing, permitting, and regulatory requirements of NRC agreement states, EPA, DOT, OSHA, and DOE. In 3 years, I would like the business to be profitable, self-sustaining, with steady income growth from commercial and government entities' contracts.
Okay, that works. Have you explored any of that with your team?
Yes.
And how is their response?
They wanted a little bit more specificity, so I actually added a phrase that said I would like to have at least 4 full-time technical FTEs and a supporting administrative staff in 3 years. I'll need at least $1.5 million per year receipts. So we're a technical consulting services company, so we land, like I just got a contract yesterday for about $600,000 from one of the government agencies. It's a 5-year contract.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so, we do technical, task-based consulting.
You're really on the right track. You're definitely on the right track. One of the things that when we put it out there and being specific in 3 years to the dollar volume and the like, that's okay because that's where you create your goal. Your vision may be out there farther. One side of it, you want to see where you're going to be in 3 years. But what does it look like in 3 years? What is the revenue? What is the profitability? How large are you? What are your team members? How are you respected in the industry? How do you stack up against potential competition? How is it? All of that becomes extremely important because it's part of who you are creating, what you are creating as a business. And you are the leader, you're the driver, you're the one who actually gets your business there with the support. And the more support you get from your team, the more that they buy into it, the easier and faster it will come to you. It's not uncommon. I've known some of these individuals. Actually, 2010, my first year in doing this, it was really quite interesting because one of those individuals created the plan, stuck with it, and it was the number of them, the amount of growth that he had was phenomenal. And it was just basically because he got everybody that was around him to not only buy in, they wanted to lead with him. And it was a great outcome because of the statement that he made in his vision and because of the mission that he incorporated as his purpose. And both of those created a very, very, very loyal, committed, and dedicated team. And he's reaping the results of that ever since. So that it's really good. Creating a powerful vision for your business, interesting, if any of you are familiar with Michael Gerber's work, and I know that some of you are, Michael Gerber calls it your primary aim. A vision is a primary aim. It's the powerful tool that you really have as an owner. If you own the business, it's one of the most powerful tools you've got. Not to have a vision, not to be able to look at it, you're in danger really of letting your life, your business drift. It just drift aimlessly. And it does that without purpose or meaning, and it really is unfortunate. The majority of businesses out there who struggle, year after year and usually close. I mean, some of the statistics today that more businesses are dying than are starting, a lot of that is the lack of direction. They were just accidentally there in the right place at the right time, but didn't have a vision of what it should be, where it's going. They weren't putting the thought behind it, and as well as the strategic planning. It's so important. So you get that. To help you and others, you have to ask yourself, are you ready to really keep reviewing this process? We did this in one page to create your big vision in the session. Again, I think it was page 15 in your toolkit. But you need to look out again. At least if you really did it to say, my big dream in 5 years, 10 years, or whatever, it's good. But put yourself in that future. Imagine that it's now 2018 or 19 or 20, whatever future year you choose, and visualize in detail what your business looks like. The more detail, the better. You think big, you aim high, you let your imagination run free, you create your ideal business. Many of us are making the transition from job to business. Those in my classes understand what I mean by that, because very often if your business operates continually and you can't leave, it means that you're operating what? A job. And it's interesting because the difference between being a self-employed, whether you've got 1, 10, or 20 people, and being a real business owner is really very simple. If your business cannot run or sustain itself without you, you're self-employed. If the business runs just about as well, equally, or with or without you, then you're more of a business owner. If you're the old proverbial chief cook and bottle washer, you're self-employed. If you have freedom to work when you wish to work at, you're more of a business owner. So as we strive to reach those levels, it's there. The old proverbial, you work more on your business versus in your business. Most individuals are tethered to their business. They're forced to be in it. You spend a lot of your time putting out fires, reactive. However, if you in your business plan the work and then work the plan, you're going to be more of a business owner. You're seeking to just survive, maybe hoping that you will achieve the sales and profit goals that you're looking for. Then you're more self-employed, whether you are then maybe your sales and marketing process deliver continual and predictable results, your business. And I love the one because one of the individuals I've worked with about 4 years ago, if you happen to take a vacation and the vacation is emails, check in, check back at the business, check in, looking at text, texting back and forth, that's not really a vacation. But if you are a business owner, you can vacation as often as you want and peacefully go off the grid. Nobody knows you, and you can recharge and refresh. So if the business is not worth much without you, it's still self-employed. If your business has more of a tangible, intrinsic value with or without you, that's a real business. And I often separate the idea that says, I have a business. Many of you should be thinking, okay, my goal is to get to this level. My dream and that becomes the vision. My dream is that in 2025, I will sell this to a large corporate structure. All my people will be taken care of. And whatever it may be, there is no right or wrong in it. It is what you want and what you're driving to do in your vision. The vision is really important to create the goal. So if you look at it from that standpoint, some of the ideas of looking a little bit farther, just another quick vision statement. I'm the leader of the consumer company for automotive industries. That's Ford Motor Company. Simple. Are they the leading? Well, not if Toyota can help it, but nonetheless, if it is a vision statement for Ford Motor Company, and that is what they're all committed to. The Kellogg Foundation is another one. I'll let you read that on your own. So if you're looking from other symbols, you get the one that's a vision. So some of these are questions I think it'd be important for all of you to look at for 3 years and beyond.
Hey, Russ.
You need to be, yes.
We did have, and I know I know time, you might be checking on that as well, but if there is time, I don't know, now or maybe later, we did have 2 other people too that were willing to share, but
okay. That's fine. I was trying to keep it paced to where I thought it should be, but fine. But that's fine. If we've got, I'd be glad to hear 2 more. That'd be great.
Well, one told me, so Tess said that they were willing to wait. Let me see if Candido still wanted to share.
Okay.
So, Candido, you should be unmuted
yes.
on our side.
Okay, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. This is Candido Alfonso with Paytech Corporation all the way down here in Puerto Rico. Our mission, we're actually an 11-year-old company. Our 11th birthday was yesterday. So our vision is to become Puerto Rico and the Caribbean's premier one-stop shop for electronic payment services through continuous innovation and superior customer service.
Very good. Very good. Benito, thank you. Great. That is good. Very, very good. You've identified that very clearly. And who else do we have? Do we have one other?
One actually was chatted in. Angel Serrano, become a $10 million a year revenue company by becoming the leader of dog training products and the leading provider of conservation and drug sweep services and making us an employer of choice.
Wow. Oh, that's actually a pretty good one. That's a very good vision. It's specific enough, and being the supplier of choice. That's an interesting combination, by the way. Two different areas there. Very, very good. Okay. It's interesting. We have visions, and somebody says, oh, well, if it inspires, if that vision inspires, it's great. If your purpose is to be something else, your mission, that's great. Understanding both the vision and the mission are important. From that, you have your goals. It goes along the line. Your goal to be where in 2 years, 3 years, and so on. But some of the things that create a vision, in generally, how big is your business going to be? How many clients or customers are you going to have? Your annual revenue. What's the value of your business? At that point, on a physical level, what does your business look like? Where is your business located? Do you have more than one location, multiple locations? Now, what does your organization, your business look like? How does it internally look? How many employees will you have? What roles would they play? You have maybe partners or junior partners. What role are you going to be playing in the future? One of the things that's interesting for those of you who are entrepreneurially spirited, who have started the business from the get-go and have been with it all along, is that where you want to be at the end in 3 years, 5 years, or 10 years? Is that where you want to be? Or are you looking to the time when you are the one who may be not just the CEO, but you can step back and you are the business owner while the business operates? And there's a lot of different ways you can look at. That's your choice as to what you want that business to look like. So, you want to get it down, as I have with one individual I've been working with, and he's down now and he works for 4 hours to 5 hours a week. And the business is operating smoothly and completely, and he probably doesn't even have to work that because he takes a lot of vacations too. But if that's what you want, build that into your plan. Build that into the goals that you're looking for. So how many hours you're going to be working on? How many days? What are some of the common traits or characteristics of your team, of your employees? What's the culture of your business like? One of the things I'm going to be touching a little bit on is going to be on culture, because while we have the mission after the vision, or the mission that also is our purpose, and we have the goals and the action plan, what kind of a culture do you want in your business? And that changes very dramatically. I would imagine for all the individuals online right now that there's probably almost as many different culture concepts that you may have. But it's important to identify the culture of your business as well, to identify it, because that's what you want to nurture. That's what you want to nurture in your team, your employees. That's what you want to be able to nurture going forward with your clients, your customers. So, who's your target market? That is, what are your strategies you're using? What makes you truly unique? For many of you, you use a value proposition, but what's your unique selling proposition? What sets you apart from your competition? All of those help you to create a vision for beyond the 3 years. So you look at it from that end, and you say, hey, what the business needs to be systematized. One of the real keys and critical elements of a business is to have a business that can be systematized. How do you market your business? Strategy. If I was to ask the question right now, how many of you have an exit strategy, I would imagine that it would be a very few. I was talking with somebody yesterday at the SBA office in Atlanta, and it was interesting because they talked about the biggest issue that people have is they start a business. That's when they should be figuring their exit strategy. I'm in a business. I'm creating a business. Now, how am I going to get out of it? 5 years, 10 years, 20, 30. What's my exit strategy? Is it going to be going to my employees? Is it a legacy for my family? Is it going to be sold, merged, whatever? What's your exit strategy? For many that I ask that question, and it's more of the hit by the bus strategy. They have no clue, no understanding of how to exit the business. Now, what side of short statements would capture the vision and the mission of your business? So all of those are really important to be able to answer questions beyond. So we're looking at that. Just to take a quick loan, a vision without action is just a daydream. Action without vision is a nightmare. So the idea behind that is you create the vision, you act on it. But if you start just doing day to day and don't have a vision, it's where the nightmares occur. But let's look at it a little bit differently, too, and say the step of the vision mission. The mission is your roadmap. Tells you how you'll achieve your vision. Who are you as a team? What business are you in? Who are your clients and customers? And what makes you unique? The purpose of you, who you are, is really where the mission comes in. And for most, that mission statement is important. There are a lot of conflicting ideas behind it. I do not embrace any one that says, well, this could be a paragraph, or this should be 2 or 3 or 4 sentences. To me, when you can explain, and when a mission statement is simple to read, simple to understand, and it is understood by your team and by people outside your business, by the community, you've got a mission. That's all that's really important. I do not believe that there is a set only one way of creating a mission statement. But a mission should be there. A mission statement should accompany your vision statement. It's out of all this that you then create the next step, which is getting down to what is the sort of the pyramid, if you will. And let's see if I pull it up here.
And Russ, we actually, one of the participants' tests actually chatted us earlier their mission statement. So this might be, sharing this might be a good way to help this transition as well. So I'll read that off. Our mission is to provide quality manufacture of portable and affordable wheel alignment products. We work to achieve our mission by understanding the needs of our customers, consumer, and business, ongoing product improvement and innovation, educational development to ourselves and associates by giving back to the community through our preferred charities.
Beautiful. Very, very good mission statement. Very good. Because I was with it all the way, and I think others were too. It made sense. You understood it was the purpose. It came out there very clearly. States who you are and why you're doing it, what you're doing. That's ideal. That was a very, very good mission statement. Very, very good one. The key there is that, the vision, the mission is the start. We were asking people to create the goals in each plan as you start working. Whether you put 1, 2, or 3 goals in, as you create the finish of your growth action plan, your first growth action plan, you've got your goals. But those goals have got to be in line with your vision, because you are getting to your dream, whether the dream is for 3 years, as we're asking, or whether it's for 33 years. It really doesn't matter. So creating that vision is number one, and making sure the mission is there. A mission is the purpose, and the vision is the dream. I keep coming back to that. It really is there that it makes sense. So I'd love to ask first, before we move on and touch a little bit more on some other elements of how we get into the goals and the touch on the culture, I'd like to know that if there are any open questions, any questions thus far.
And feel free. One question,
okay.
Is it appropriate to say the owner's vision might be different than the one for the company? This individual's vision is to exit in 3 years, but it's not the one that is shared with the team. That is,
the owner has created a goal within for himself or herself. That's a goal to exit. If the vision is to be retired or whatever, that's a dream. That it is not part of the business function. Only part of the business function is, does the business allow for it? Does the business support it? It is not one that you need to share with the team. Going back to that triangle, what you put into it is got to be understood by your organization and should be understood by the community. And what they do, and they can understand and embrace. That's where the vision, that everybody's on the same page, and you may have your own set of ideals or what you want to. It's back to, sure, I have one individual I've known now for a couple of years, and he's really got the thing down where he's got the mountain home already picked out, and he's got where he's going, the lake, and the whole process. Well, he's going into a very, very, very early retirement, and that's his dream. But the dream also for the business is, what will that business look like? And his expectations the business will flourish the whole time he has it, and maybe flourish even more in behalf of his team after he leaves. So, but the purpose behind the organization, behind the business, that vision is entirely different. It's serving a specific community with specific needs. I won't go into the vision, but it's there. So the community is being served, his team is being served, and that's part of his vision, and the mission supports that. I believe that answered it.
And then related to that is, you talk a lot about the team and the vision, and the question is the team the only reason the vision and mission are so important, or are there other reasons why having a vision and mission would be important for a company or business owner other than, to motivate or rally their team?
Yeah, it's not just to rally the team. One of the strengths of being a leader, of a true business owner, somebody who's out there, is to be able to enroll and inspire your team. That's fundamentally it, because that makes almost any business creates the success for the business. But beyond that, the vision itself is something that, of course, needs to be understood. If you've got a vision, if the community knows what it is and they find it not only good but acceptable or maybe even excellent, they buy into it. What you're personally inside saying, yeah, I just want to make more money, that may be your vision. But you really do need the vision for your team and for the community, and one that you embrace as well. It doesn't exclude the fact that you may be personally looking to make something else out of it. Everybody, when somebody joins your business as a team member, as a manager, whatever it might be, they've got certain goals as well. And those goals are dreams, and those dreams are where they want to get to. And if it synchronizes with what the vision is, you're going to have very happy team members. You'll have more productivity. If everybody's on the same page and their own personal dreams coincide with the dreams of the company, that's a powerful occurrence.
And then how does the vision also align with when you're looking for other companies to do business with? So,
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
Yeah, so there's a comment here that having the vision, other companies, people can look at it to see if they're in line with you before you decide to do business with them.
There are many industries that is extremely important. That's extremely important. Not all industries, but there are many that it's very, very important to know what your alignment is. Absolutely. Absolutely. So if we're looking at it as a whole, you're looking at it to eventually you're going to have your plan, your action plan, your growth action plan that you're going to wind up with. You have modified each one after each module. It's really something, too, that you take into account, something called the culture. And one of the things I recommend to almost everybody, this is not in the toolkit, but is that in order to create the culture, what are the 3 values that are imperative for you as an owner, as the business owner or general manager? What are the 3 values that are imperative for you? And then what are the 3 values that are really imperative for the customer, your clients? What are the 3 values that are imperative for the team? And then what are the 3 values that are imperative for the business to operate? If you look at that, you've got 12 potential values. Maybe it's possible to have some that overlap, but you've got 12 values. If you can incorporate that value statement, your culture, into your day-to-day business, it works out extremely well. I've known those, I don't recommend, I've known those who have incorporated some of those values into their mission. But the values and the culture you create is vital to how your team grows, how your customers grow. And there's a number of different resources to look at what are the real values. There's one called the 400 Values of Any Business. And that one, if you Google it, you'll find a list of about 400 values. And you can look at it. Most people say, well, integrity, or we work with, we are committed. We believe in teamwork. Any number of different things that come up there, the values. But what are the 3 key, the top 3 that are most imperative for you? And do it for each category. The reason behind it is that the culture of your business helps you to run a better business, but with your team and others. They understand what the culture is, and they have to, but they desire to run and work within that culture. It's really important. If the culture is contrary to something that they don't feel that it's being followed, you lose credibility. And there are those who actually will claim something and not live it. When you look at the values, you have to live the values. And this is not trying to get up there type of thing, but it really is important. And I'll give you one brief understanding of how that works. I had a client. This is now 8 years ago. I had a client who was really one of the key culture points that he advertised, marketed everywhere, was his honesty and integrity. They're two different things, but he was saying about honesty and integrity. And he had a couple of others as well that he believed very strongly in. And I was visiting with him in his business, and we're working on a project, and his individual bookkeeper came in and said, Mr. Blank, we've got a little bit of an issue here. We have a account, one of the better accounts, has actually paid us twice for the same project, the same job. So how would you want me to handle that? And he said, well, you don't handle it. You just ignore it. That, by the way, is when I fired the client. The interesting thing is if honesty and integrity is what you believe and that's your culture, and the first thing you do is you violate it, then it loses all credibility. You lose everything. So creating a culture in that is very important, and it ties very much into your vision and extremely well into your mission. So keep in mind that it is not just one area, it's also the culture area that you work with. And I won't spend a lot of time on that, but it's one that I believe very strongly in. So we can take a little bit of a look at the goals, because that is when you look at your vision and you have the goals that allow you to control the direction of change in your favor. That's Brian Tracy is a quote. So you got your goals, your strategies, and tactics. The vision. That's what the vision produces, your goals, your strategies, your tactics. As you're starting to go down and you create the goals, and if your vision for 3 years out in your growth action plan is 3 years out, what strategies are you going to implement? As you start to implement them, okay, who's going to do it? And then what are the details? The details are the action steps or tactics, or the action steps. The strategies is the encompassing means by which you're going to get there. For those of you who served in the military, this is simple to understand. But it is really, for many people, it's a confusing area. And we really revisit it often throughout all the different sessions we have. We come back to the goals and strategies. To understand that you can lay out a goal is truly a SMART goal. And that is something that is your guiding light, and you stay with it. Then how are you going to implement it? As we go through everything, we've been talking about the financials in the Module 2, which helps you reach that goal, the goal that you've set out, how you use those financials to strengthen your direction to the goal. And those financials, very often, what you do with that becomes a strategy. And from that strategy, we're going to do this. We're going to keep the bookkeeper on. We're going to do this review. We're now starting to look at our income statement and this frequency. So then we look at the cash flow statement, and we're going to modify that. We'll start looking at that weekly, and so I'm going to have so-and-so do that for me, give me the summation, so you implement the tactics or the action steps that exactly make it work. Those strategies is what helps you get to the goal. And the goals are what you bring out of your vision. It's really quite simple, but very often we get through that first module, and it's all over the place. And for many of us, the first time, this is all new. It's all a little bit different, and we're trying to grasp it and understand it. So one of the reasons I believe very strongly that we do a wrap-up of a module is that we start to be able to condense it, maybe take another look at it, another view of it, and help us get a little bit farther in creating those ideal goals, which creates the ideal to achieve that ideal vision out there for 3 years or beyond out. So with that in mind, so it is creating a vision based on growth plan. what's important to you. You approach planning as more of an art than a science. You create a planning framework that accommodates change and treat the plan as a living, growing document. Very, very key. Even though we're asking for eventually a finalized 3-year plan, even with that 3-year plan, you're going to have a living, growing document that's going to go through change. Why? Because life changes. The economy, everything changes. So you have to be flexible enough to make those changes. Treat the plan as a living, growing document. It will get you a lot farther.
So, Russ, actually, that relates to a question we had come in where someone was wondering how often they should be reviewing their vision with the team to make sure they're still on track, and then maybe relating that to likewise the growth plan, since it's a living, breathing document. How often do you recommend people doing a temperature check and pulling it off the shelf and not even looking at themselves, but also making sure their team's aware of how they're doing on their goals?
Very good. It's interesting. There's a combination that you can actually utilize. I believe very strongly in having no less than a quarterly meeting with your team. And that is to, number one, review the goals and the mission of your business. That should be read actually at the start of a meeting. Read your vision and your mission. It is interesting because if you read the vision and the mission, this is part of every team meeting. It really it keeps them in the right place. And then you look at how are we doing, where are we going, what are the results, what's working, what's not working. Okay, then it may be from the vision they remain the same, but we may have to adjust the goal because something else came up. What do we need to make the change on? So the vision may still be there for 3 years or whatever out there, but we would potentially change the goal. And if the goal changes, certainly the strategies change. Sometimes we need to change the strategies and leave the goal. But in many organizations, they meet monthly. In other organizations, quarterly. But that's as far as I would go. I wouldn't look at it as an annual basis or semi-annual. You need a minimum of a quarter, preferably monthly. There's a very successful business that operates in the way out from the Atlanta market area that has grown very, very effectively. I've engaged with them for quite some time, and they're for the most part manufacturing and in their medical products area. And they have brought in, and they do a lot of specialized plastic surgery garments and other things. It was interesting that they would hold a monthly meeting with everybody in the business. And they had, in the people who would sit and work on sewing machines, the people who maintain those sewing machines, the people in packaging, the people in shipping, the people in the accounting side, the bookkeeping, the sales side, the business development side, they would have a meeting once a month that everybody was required to be at. Now, usually that meeting was at breakfast or just before they started their day or at the time they would start their day. Breakfast would be provided, and there would be a declaration of where we are. This is what our goal is. This is where we are today. This is what's gone well. This is what has not gone well. It would explain all that to each and everybody that's out there. Their loyalty of their team is phenomenal. It grew where people with the family and relatives and everybody else that worked there were saying, can we get in there? Can we work for them? Can we work for them? They were very, very good to their people. But they reviewed they always read the vision and mission. But more importantly, they also reviewed where they were and how they were doing against the goals that they had set up. Now, they never shared necessarily the financials. They would just talk about we have a very large order that's going to be better than or larger than, and they did others. They would not talk about the sheer profitability. They may talk about percentage of profitability, but they would never talk about, we're making X number of dollars from profit, we're putting away into it. They would do things indirectly on that and not directly. The advantage of it is that you build a great following of a team. And we'll be covering a little bit more of that in a future session. But how you get your team working together and buying into everything you've got is to have those meetings and give everybody the opportunity to talk if they can, to comment. So the reading of the vision and mission is really important. Another team that I was involved in another another industry, would read that at the start of any meeting. The executive team would meet, they'd read it. The production team would meet, they would read it again. And they always, so everybody was living it on a day-to-day basis, so virtually everybody had it by heart very quickly. Did I roundabout answer that?
I think so. And then, well, and the individual that sent that question, and this is more of a comment, that this route reflects as a privately owned small business, they become more transparent with their team to move forward to successfully achieve goals and vision, which I think is
well put. Yeah, exactly. Well put. That's very, very good. It is interesting because when we start looking at it as a whole, the creating of a vision really starts with the planning, the visioning. With any form of strategic planning, the visioning has to come first. And you ask yourself, what's our preferred future? What does it look like? What do we want it to go? How do we want it to go? And realistically, you should be drawing upon your own beliefs, as well as perhaps the environment of your organization as well. And you describe it, you work it. And for most in a vision, you can have a vision that's a paragraph. That's not what you publish. That's not what everybody understands. You may have all of the things that are detailed that created that one sentence or two sentences in the vision. It's got all this other material behind it that really, really works because it's the thought behind it. In larger companies, in corporate structure, when they go away and they want to make an adjustment, they go on their 2 or 3 day retreat and bounce it back and forth with each other until eventually they distill it to something complete. But that's fine for a corporation. For us, most of us who are in business for ourselves, we're in the small business category, we don't have that luxury. But we do have the luxury of being able to put down what we believe in, how we want it to operate, and be able to act on it. And then by enrolling and inspiring those around us, they buy into it as well. So it is really a lot of it. I go into what's a belief. It's whatever you hold to be true. What the definition of belief, whatever you hold to be true. It doesn't matter whether it is or isn't correct, but it's whatever you do. So your beliefs have to be really keyed around your beliefs guide the actions. Your beliefs reflect the knowledge, the philosophy. Your beliefs are the key component to all strategic planning. Those are your beliefs, and you have to work with those. Are they right or wrong? Doesn't matter. They're your beliefs. And the same thing is true with your mission. It's not whether it's right, wrong, or there. It's not on it is what you believe. And remember that your mission statement has to focus on one common purpose. It should be specific to the organization. Try to keep it anything, but I see a lot of mission statements that are very generic. We're coming along. Our purpose is to make sure that the community is always happy and compliant. And I had one with a child care center, and it was, I don't even want to go there. I'm sorry, just brought up a memory of mine. But the mission statement has to be a short statement. It does not have to be paragraphs. So if you want to incorporate your culture, you can probably extend that to a different thing that is your operating statement. You have your mission, and then you can have your operating statement if you really want to go more elaborately onto what you think is your mission. That would be my recommendation. So coming back together, the whole purpose of this is to understand that first and foremost, you're not going to have a plan without a goal. Your goals are very difficult to do unless you have the vision. Your vision determines it. The mission is your purpose. The goals that you have to get to where you're going to be in 3 years or whatever time frame you're looking at. Think larger. Think beyond just the temporary. What I have found year after year, so many have a challenge to think beyond a month or 3 months, even 6 months. It's challenging when we are working and putting it in reactively. We're putting out fires. We're looking at what's next, reacting. The advantage of having a plan is that you take away that reaction, a lot of it, and you now create a plan of execution. And that execution is where your growth will be tremendous. So keep that in mind, because as we go through all the different modules, as we go through all the different topics and all the different areas that we're covering, it is all to contribute to your growth and to your business growth and expansion. But it's got to be there so you do realize your vision. So if you look at it again from a different area, Your success is built on everything. Your dream creates your vision, which creates the mission, the goal, the strategy, the action plan, but it all comes back to equaling the success that you are entitled to, and we hope that you all have. That's what we're here to help you with, to help you obtain your success. I've covered a lot of different areas. I didn't go into depth deliberately on a couple of them, but I would love to be able to entertain any questions we have or comments.
We do have another question that came in. How would you handle it if you have a team member who can't retain the vision and or continually cannot answer the question about the company's vision?
If the team member is a functional team member as far as performing the duties responsible for, and they're all very good, you have to just be patient, work with them. If they are a team member that is not necessarily working effectively or efficiently, and those will come under the HR section, but it is that you start preparing the opportunity of dismissal. I believe very strongly in the fact that if you've got somebody who does not buy in, does not believe in, then you should not have them.
So if other people have other comments or questions, feel free to chat them over to us, or if you'd like to share, you can also chat us your phone number so we can make sure you're unmuted at least on our end. We did have someone else sharing their vision earlier through a chat, was to be the Gulf Coast area's most diverse, customer-centric boutique marketing and design company, providing a rich creative environment where clients can make their dreams come to life through collaboration with innovative and creative designers and marketers who help them solve their business problems and achieve their business objectives.
Wow. Part vision, part mission. It's not a real vision area, and it's not a full vision. It's a vision mission combo is what is just that has been presented. And for the time being, that's fine. We can work on refining it, separating it. And I would advise anybody, if you've got challenges in that, talk to your instructor and allow your instructor to help guide you on some of that. When you get together on a one-to-one basis, it's a great topic to review. You know, it may be very back there. Oh, we have right back in the beginning, we talked vision. Okay, we talked about, that's our goals, and we keep coming back to those SMART goals. But we talked that. We talked about a mission that implements it. We do all of that, and yet, we already did that. But it is really fundamental to the entire growth action plan that you're creating. It's fundamental to where your business is going to go. And the more refined you get with it, the more it is bought into by your team and by those outside, and the more that you embrace it, the stronger you will become. Any others?
So we did have an interesting, and then Gloria Chavez had a question, and we did unmute your line on our side, so you should be able to comment or ask a question.
Great.
Okay, this time I won't disconnect you, but something called a guiding principle. And our guiding principle is to operate as an ethical, exceptionally competent technical consulting business, providing quality services, to be the first place clients think to contact when they need help, and to be a place where individuals want to work. So what do you think about guiding principles and having that for a company?
It's fine. Guiding principle, in many ways, for some companies, actually takes the place of the mission statement. And there's nothing wrong with it, because you're talking about your purpose and the direction that you're moving, and that's what it's all about. And the guiding principle is how you operate, because you're incorporating a little bit of that, you're incorporating your culture as well, and I think that's excellent. Okay, Gloria, do you want to follow up on that?
No, thanks for the feedback. After listening to you today, I think I'll work on my vision and mission statements some more. We also have some quality objectives and quality principles, and they'll need to be sure that they tie in together.
Yes, your purpose, absolutely.
next week. We hope you enjoyed this. I think it was fun. There was some great participation from folks, which is what we wanted to see. And like I said, this is something we're doing new this year for emerging leaders, to have one webinar per module that delves a little deeper into that specific theme of the module. So our next one coming up is financials. I know, those of you who are knee-deep in it probably are thinking no more financials. And those of you who have just finished are probably thinking, gosh, I could have used maybe a little more. So save the date. We don't have all of the information out yet, but it will be July 23rd, same time from 2:30 to 4 Eastern Time. And that one will be focused on driving your cash flow. And it will be presented by Steve Pitcairn, who is our Memphis Emerging Leader.